my 1.2 gig antenna.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the antenna or the feed line. It was a problem with my Alpha Delta switch. Things get really finicky.
Okay, I think we're live.
There goes the stream.
Your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
And when I see the wiggle meters, and blinking lights, there is the possibility that the Old Tube Radio Network might be on the air. And indeed, I think we are beaconing across the Central Valley of California, 27085, channel 11. Possibly somewhere on your audio stream at oldtuberadio.net, and there's a link there to go to a video that will add pictures of the radios and allow you to get on a chat stream off to the side and do all sorts of wondrous things while we are waiting for the tube radios to stop by tonight. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers that have been sitting in the air chairs throughout the various years of the Old Tube Radio Network since the middle of 1985, where our goal is to promote the use and distribute information about the 11-meter citizen band Class D radio service, and perhaps provide a little information and entertainment or what have you. The radios will do that. Our shortwave listeners, whether you're on a piece of paper or not, whether you're registered as a number or you are joining us live somewhere, you can make comments, let us know what kind of radios you are running, give us information about the radios that we are presenting or items of interest. We even get recipes, believe it or not, so that is a good thing. The last program, the last net of 2023, I can't believe it is the 21st century. The tubes are still glowing. A lot of the radios are sounding good. So without any further ado, we will get into the shortwave listener roll call, and as they say, commence to begin. Now, what I would like to do is see if there are any stations that need an early check-in, because it's been raining and it's a bit cold outside. So if you're sequestered in your Radio Shack next to the doghouse, we'll get you checked in. OTR listening.
Station?
Station, go ahead, over.
Yeah, Dennis, this is Dennis out here in Kerman. I'd like an early check-in, please.
Okay, from Kerman Town, not too far away from the good old ditch banks. Dennis, I will get you checked in. 96 is sounding good tonight. Thanks for joining us, over.
Thank you, Dennis, and have a break. And a great coming year. Maybe it's been a jubilee year and many new beginnings.
All right, and likewise, good to hear you. You're sounding good on the net last night. Thanks for joining us, and we will look forward to seeing you next year. The break, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to check in, Dennis.
All right, that should be shortwave listener 77. Jimmy, you are sounding good. Good to chat with you. I'm sorry, not 77. It should be 73. What number are you?
93, I do believe.
Oh, you are correct. You know what it is? I got your 777s. Dennis is saying, I'm not checking it. I got your 777s mixed up with the 777. SWL 93. Thanks, Jimmy, and good to hear you last night.
Yeah, you too.
All right, anybody else that needs an early check-in on the Old Tube Radio Network?
24 checking in.
SWL 24 here in 23. We've got you checked in, Joe. Thanks. All right, let me get started on the roll call, and if you need to get in and stop by, just let me know. Directed net roll call 00 is where we start. Chosen from a station that, with perfect attendance for the last 8 weeks, are 00 currently for this 8-week period. And we are week, or if you're playing the home game, we're in week number 4. is SWL 28. That is Gary, and he's saying Happy New Year. Hello to everybody. He's a little under the weather, aren't we all? But he's specifically under the weather. And is RC, is Royal Crown Cola doesn't even help the allergies. I know, just sip on it. Maybe some 7-Up, who knows? On with the program, and we will get you checked in both spots. Stay warm. And listen, just take it easy and listen to the net here. SWL number 1, Mr. Dr. J, one of the guys, along with this other guy, SWL 2, that thought up this various item of interest that is still going strong today in 2023. The old Tube Radio Network, a place to get away from the hustle and bustle and turn on your tube radio and take a transmission. How easy and how cool is that? So Mr. OBP, with no traffic, I'll get you checked in, and thanks for the Sunspot Solar Report a little bit earlier. I've been hearing that the conditions have been good on 11 meters for talking across the pond, either way, north and south. What do they say? The farther north you go, eventually you end up going south. But when you go east, you never end up going west. I don't know how that works, but your signal, your radio signal knows how to figure that one out. Anyway, Mr. OBP, thanks for joining us. I've got a proxy check-in for SWL number 3. Probably from his appearance over on Old Radio Night, SWL number 5. Mr. Rainmaker, if you are out there, give us a shout, and we'll put the X in the square. Let's go to SWL 7.
SWL 7, checking in.
Number 7, putting a big signal into the control point here tonight. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you for checking me in.
And number 7 has sat in the air chair many a times as a net controller. Let's go to SWL 10. I see the jumping Dolphins. Chrissy was saying that 10 and 30 are in the proverbial radio house tonight. They say they have company, so they won't be available for a little bit. Anyway, that's not a bad thing. Attend to the company. Bring him into the room and let him say hello radio. I'm always glad and amazed that people can find the time on a busy Saturday evening to jump into the radio room and at least give us a shout, so I appreciate that. Let's go to the duo, the dynamic duo, SWL 11 and SWL 12. Mr. Cornbread and Dapper Dan. Dan and Dan. One a little bit more dapper than the other. And looking dapper, feeling dapper. Let me see what's going on. The tie is straight tonight. We got the seersucker's suit is back out of the cleaners. Oh, they said it wasn't in the cleaners. Well, what did you do? Oh, okay. They bought one of those high-pressure water hoses, I guess, and was somebody wearing it when you did that? And they're not going to say. All right. Well, this did seem a little moist, but that's okay. I thought maybe that was some other issue. All right, you guys. Someone did say Fresno, and you guys are checked in. Let's go to SWL 13, Mr. Cobra, who can and often does, and it is possible if you go to oldtuberadio.net and look for the glowing 6L6 tube. I think there is a way, if you have some type of social media thing, to log in that way. And indeed, on a page refresh, he is waving 4 fingers and a thumb for 12/20 or 12/30/2023. Dan, I've got you checked in. You're looking good at the top of the page there tonight. Thanks for joining us. Let's head out to Sangertown, SWL 14. SWL 14. And let's do it now. All right. Thanks. It says let's turn on the E.F. Johnson. You know, this is the old Tube Radio Network, so might as well have the radios glowing in the dark while we are on the air here. Heading over to, and I know this station is here all the way. Good morning. Good morning, Hans from Copenhagen, Denmark. SWL 15 Hans is joining us over on the video side, so if he's there, say hello, radio. Let me see if it gives me information here on my page, were I to be able to actually get to the page. No reviews, no remarks. All right, I've reached, it says I've reached the end of my list. All right, well, that's okay. I think my mouse is giving out here. Let's keep going with roll call, looking for SWL 16, Charlie, who is always helping me out behind the scenes, just on the other side of the camera there. You guys were I noticed they're having a New Year's party out in the green room tonight. Are you not, or are they not? Yeah, as usual, we have to hang out here in the live. Oh, hold on. Yeah, he got me my own. Now this is great. This is the sort of executive privilege. Let's see if we can do this. He got me my own item here. How am I going to do this without making a mess? Let's see. Is this the real stuff? All right, little sound effects here. All right, I don't want to make a mess and spill it. All right, that's oops. That's pretty good. Let me. You know what? I know myself. Let me get this out of the way of the radio. But that looks good. All right, what do they say? What do they say on 38 lower? Salute. All right, this is aged. What is this, from last year? All right, good stuff. Happy New Year, everybody, coming up. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. I will get Mr. KDA checked in from Facebook. From beautiful Anoka, Minnesota. No, that's Charlie saying he's from Anoka, Minnesota. From beautiful Derby, New York. By way of Belfast, Maine, on the cue cards. I like the colors. Those pens are working out well. I can tell when I'm supposed to be serious and not serious on the cue cards tonight, as always. Chet, thank you. Thank you, 19. We got you checked in. Harvey said that he was possibly going to be away, but I will give him a call. Hello, 20. Now, I'll get you checked in, Harvey. It's possible he's listening in. He's got one of those portable devices that allows him to... I guess you don't get in trouble, Harvey. I know what you're doing with the... inventory stuff, but if you're listening in, I did get you checked in. I'll whisper so you don't have to turn things up. But we will look for you when you get into the air chair a little bit later. Maybe we'll hear you on the crossband as you drive into the item here. Let's go over to SWL 21, the Wasama Swamps, and Mr. JT. And unfortunately tonight, when I tuned in, I think they're still, let me tune up the audio. I think they're still going on over old radio night.
Just checking, hang on. No, I think it's only going to 18 next.
On channel 17. On the, what radio tonight? It looks like the Lafayette.
All right, get ready.
And I'm sorry to hear about Crazy Man there. That is not a good thing. He was sort of like the Ed McMahon on old radio night. But we'll turn up the audio and we'll let 20. We'll let Mr. JT check in. So he'll be listening in. Here's the old radio night. He's going on live right now. Here's the audio.
Into the item here. Let's go over to SWL 21, the Wasama Swamps, and Mr. JT. And unfortunately tonight, when I tuned in, I think they're still, let me tune up the audio, I think they're still going on.
We're still here.
They're still there.
Just checking, hang on. No, I think it's only going to 18 next.
Channel 17. On the, what Web Radio tonight. It looks like the Lafayette.
We're live from coast to coast right now.
And I'm sorry to hear about Crazy Man there. That is not a good thing. He was sort of like the Ed McMahon on old radio night. But we'll turn up the audio and we'll let 20. We'll
All right, here they come. We finally got the loop coming up.
Here's the old radio night. Going on live right now. Here's the audio. Into the item there. Let's go over to SWL 21. It was some swamps in Maine. When I tuned in, I think they're still, let me tune up the audio. I think they're still going on.
We're still here.
They're still in.
Just checking. Hang on, son. Arizona going to 18 next.
On the Web Radio tonight, I'm from coast to coast right now. And I'm sorry to hear about Crazy Man there.
There is a big audio loop going on here.
I don't know whether to go or not. Did I get lost?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Jed, go ahead and go. Hey, after I'm key. SWL 21 checking in from around Charleston, South Carolina. Hey, Happy New Year. Go ahead.
Also, Happy New Year to everybody out there. You got Jed, 183, Charleston, South Carolina.
All right, there we did.
What's going on and on? I don't know. Okay, back.
All right, that is it. From Charleston, South Carolina, the Wasama Swamps, and the biggest audio loop from California to South Carolina and beyond, from Old Radio Night and the Old Tube Radio Network. Back in a second. All right, I had to catch my breath on that one. I think we are in the present time, no delay. Here we go, SWL 22. I'm looking for Tyler up on the chart here. If I see who's joining us tonight, it looks like up in the balcony we've got stations from Texas, Liberty Lake, Washington. Hello to you, Kerman, California. The unknown SWL, that could possibly be Harvey. Hello to Fresno, Plymouth, Minnesota. Hans is in from Copenhagen. Bowling Green, Kentucky. San Bernardino, like the famous Frank Zappa song. Derby, New York, Fresno. A lot of Fresno stations tuning in tonight, so hello, radio. All right, good stuff. Tyler's not there. I know Mitch is in. I know 23 Skidoo is in. Let me scroll up. So I think he might have gone off the screen. But I wonder what is going on in the land of 23. Well, he was there earlier. I'll find the item. Yeah, it's checking in from the Mavericks Big Wave competition, 60-footers rolling in. That is crazy. And I grew up in the Southern California beaches, and 6 to 8 feet was a big wave. That was very uncommon, 6 to 8 feet. And they're getting, I don't know, 20 foot, 30 foot. It's just crazy. I saw some of the pictures. 60-footers rolling in. Special trucking company was playing Wipeout for the crowds on the beach. But a sneaker wave, well, that wiped them out too. So that's perfect irony. We're getting wiped out during your wipeout. Anyway, keep the life vest handy there, 23, because you just never know when those 60-footers are going to join the crowd.
San Diego's getting them too, Dennis.
Yeah, very, very strange to have those high waves. Now, on the other coast, I don't know if 007 Extreme CV is getting that, but a note from Frank 007, live from the Jersey Shore. Is Bozo still in the timeout chair? He is honking the proboscis even as we speak. And if you're not familiar with Extreme CB, try out this right there, extremecb.com. Check out the gates, check out the videos, because if you don't, you will be a mud duck. Or maybe you're a mud duck already like me. You don't have to worry about such things. Anyway, Frank, it was good to have you in the alternate air chair, a very rare thing indeed. So glad you made it to the West Coast here, and hope you did good on your trip. The direct-to-net roll call is going on, believe it or not. We've got a check-in for SWL 24 from moments ago. Let's try shortwave listener 25. SWL 27. SWL 28, Gary checked in as 00. I want to say hello also, while we are on the right item of interest. Who did I just see? Speaking about good audio and 40 meters, 4799. Hello, Mark. Saying Happy New Year to the OTR gang, the listeners, the radios from the deep, dark forest of Voodoo Land, Lake Eleanor. And he tells you true. There is but few voodoo radios around, and there's probably only one on the West Coast that has the true 100% voodoo sound, and that would be 4799. So tune him in if you dare. Make sure you are wearing the 3D audio glasses when you do. I also want to get SWL 147, Neil checked in, because I see his entry onto the roster here. Neil, you made it through another year. Weather kind of cold, not like Wisconsin, but still chilly. Conditions good on lower sideband. Hello to all the old tube radios and SWLs from Dr. Jazz. So, sounds like you're having a good time at the end of 2023. All right, I'm back again. I keep getting into these time warps where I'm not sure if I'm live or not. We are live now. SWL 29, I've got a proxy check-in for Mr. Loner. We've got SWL 30 checked in with the guests. Hopefully we'll have some conditions. I don't think there was any of the E-skip last night on the Ditchbanks net, but you just never know. I think I feel it in the air. Let's go to SWL 31. Shortwave listener 32. SWL 33, myself and all the gang here at the Old Tube Radio Network, and especially the original 33, Bozo Control. Going to, speaking of an original, Jimmy Fiedler is an original. Let me try the whistle here without breaking the compressors here. For SWL 34, Railroader. Hope you are feeling well tonight. Ringing in the new year coming up. SWL 35 is Red Monkey Communications. Let me see if Mr. Bill has stopped by tonight, where we are sending you some cold weather that way for sure. So if it hasn't been snowing in Cheyenne, my guess is it will be soon. We've got you checked in. And I don't think there's a conversation that goes on here in the Central Valley where at some point they say something like, if Red Monkey was still here, or if thanks to Mr. Bill and the gang, this radio is still on the air. So we miss you out here in the Central Valley, but I know you were having a good time. Let's go to SWL 36. Bone Anchor CB radio repair finished with the Madison 858 PLL. All right, well, hopefully it's the Gazintas and the Gazautas are where they should be, and you can get on the frequency, your frequency of choice, as they say. Let's go to SWL 37.
SWL 37 here, Dennis. Hey, and while I'm at it, check in Ray 360. I don't know what his numbers are. And I don't know if you hollered for Dennis yet. He said just in case you don't answer for me, check him in. So just give him a half a proxy in case he checks in.
All right, a half an X. Well, he was sounding good earlier before the net, so at some point he will be in there. And he's got a nice radio for us, too, tonight. Chris, you are sounding good. I have the full X in your square, over.
All right, thank you very much, Dennis. And I will be back with a tube-type radio. Never know how many yet, but we'll be in there at least one.
Should be. At least I hope so. All right, thanks for stopping by tonight. Big Rich 6520 saying Happy New Year to the OTR crew. And well wishes to all the shortwave listeners, wherever you might be, on whatever frequency you might be tuning in, on whatever device you might be using. It's always fun to listen to wireless radio, where you will never get a bill at the end of the month, and no one will track you, right? There's got to be some advantages to this radio thing. Let's go to Sam. Hello, SWL 38, out in beautiful Byron, California tonight. I will get you checked in, over. And as 23 Skidoo reminds us, there are cold duck cocktails and there are mud duck cocktails, possibly more apropos for the likes of my station. If you're looking for the recipe for that, 1 part cold duck, 1 part Bosco, I'm liking this already, Oreo cookie crumbles, blend with chipped ice, pour into your self-rimmed glasses, and garnish with orange zest. Or any type of zest. If you don't have orange zest, maybe you can, take a shower at the same time. SWL 39. Listening to Dan. Where is Dan? Are you listening? Maybe I'm just not hearing you. Let's try shortwave listener 40.
SWL 40 checking in.
All right, there's Sam. Sam, I see you on the list. And SWL 40 checking in. Is it relatively quiet? They're not doing the Chinese New Year yet?
No, that's in late January or February.
All right, well, you are safe and sound for another 24 hours or so. Thanks for joining us tonight. That takes us to shortwave listener 41, who is right here, or is Motormouth Mall, let's say, right here, right now, checking in from the Tri-County React, Hudson Valley, New York. Good evening, everyone, and a Happy New Year to all. And likewise, 507, thanks for joining us tonight. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 42. Likewise, Mr. Crazy Eddie, SWL 43. And I'll put out the call, but we're going to get a check-in also for Mr. 360 Ray. We've got you checked in 44, over. From up in the high country where it is not snowing, somebody showed me a picture from the same time last year where we had over 4 inches of rain at this time, which we have very little. And the Sierras were just covered with snow. There's barely snow at about, 7,500, 7,000 feet. And I know there is not any up at 2,500 feet up there with Paul and Kelly. But if you are listening in tonight, 45, keep the fireplace stoked and keep warm out there. From the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific, due north, which would be that way right back there, due north of me, from Jungle Joe, C Video Gates United Delta X-Ray 791. Thanks for joining us tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. And we couldn't have a party. We could not have a year-end party without some popcorn. Mr. 913, Popcorn 913 is on with us tonight. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network crew. Let's go to SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47.
Good evening, OTR. This is SWL 47 from the Radio Lounge.
From the Radio Lounge. Hopefully you have enough tubes turned on that the lounge is not 40 degrees.
No, it's actually quite comfortable in here. I'm going to do something rather peculiar. I'm going to unkey this radio, and I wouldn't mind if you told me if you heard something. If you're monitoring the other band here, let's see.
All right, this is the rather peculiar frequency, and we are monitoring various frequencies. The crossband is up, the echo link is linked, and we're listening.
Okay, no, you didn't. Santa brought me a straight key, and I have it hooked up to the TS2000, but it's not transmitting. I'll have to figure this one out.
Let's see. It goes into the key position. I'm looking at my TS2000, which is very broken. And you go to the CW mode, and it should do this thing. It should do its thing.
Yep, it's on the right frequency and it's in the right mode, but something is not happy. That's been my team more than just once.
Oh, well, the problem is me, because I'm not listening to CW. So do your thing again, and I will have to flip over to, and I've got the button right here. So I will flip over to the CW mode. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think this is standing, at least according to my front panel on this thing, but I'll give it a try.
Hearing nothing.
11 meters.
Yeah, okay, yeah, oh, well, that could be. It might be on the lockout transmit position, which it comes out of the box like that. You have to do some, we won't talk about it, trickery to get the little TX light to beacon here on the Old Tube Radio Network frequency if you haven't done that already.
No, I haven't done anything weird.
Okay, then that is exactly why there is a slight. It's not quite. Don't cut the green wire, but it's a similar thing.
Okay, well, I'll stop wasting it and twisting knobs. Anyways, great to hear everyone again, the Radio Lounge.
All right, I think it is, if I remember correctly, it is a little resistor the size, and I kid you not, the size of a flea. So good luck. All right, thanks for the effort, and we'll try it on one of those other frequencies. Let's go to SWL 48. I'm going to get Sammy checked in. Let's go to SWL 49. And Mark, you're right. We need. Remember, go to the other one. Go to the secret channel. We need one of those extra channels in the 2000. SWL 50.
Question?
This is the question frequency. Go ahead.
So are you not allowed on 146.55, are you not allowed to do CW? Is it only FM?
That is a good question. I would have to check the band plan, because on the HF band, CW is allowed anywhere. It's the phone and the FM and the digital that, or maybe not the digital, but the phone that is not allowed on the CW only portion. But CW is allowed anywhere. So does that, and I should know this, maybe somebody does that transfer to UHF and VHF as well? Because there are CW portions, of course, on 2 meters. But I'm thinking that CW is one of those things that you can be anywhere, anytime.
Okay, so as you were just keying up, I think something about this radio does not want me to do that. Oh yeah. It doesn't want me to do CW on 2 meters for some reason. All right, I'll figure this one out later.
All right, that may not be an acceptable mode for it to figure out. I can't ever remember. Let's see. Well, it'll do sideband. That would be interesting, and it may be a main VFO and sub VFO thing as well. I don't know if the sub VFO doesn't do it. It has been so long since I have played with mine, I couldn't tell you. So keep on working.
Nope, you're right. You can't select CW on the second band, or second half of the radio. On the main one you can, but it's still not putting it out for some reason.
Okay, and that requires a carrier control too, I would think. So you have to make sure it's got some, may transmit, but if it's got no carrier, it may not do nothing, which means it does something. Let's go to, did I call SWL 50? Yes, I did. How about SWL 51? Dave in Sangertown. I'll get Dave checked in. He was sounding good last night in the Ditchbank sideband net. Speaking of the Ditchbank sideband net, this next station does a cool thing. So if one were to thinking, boy, I would sure like to hear the Ditchbank sideband net, but I'm just too far away, thanks to SWL 52, Hello Radio.
Hello Radio, I'm trying something different. Can you hear me? Over.
I can hear you. Over.
So apparently the Google machine, I was doing some research, and people recommend running this radio in the AM modulation mode at 60% power instead of 100. So I was curious if you could tell the difference.
Well, it still sounds low. It sounds good. I'm wondering if that's because it may overdrive. They have ALC circuits. My 920 was like that. If you ran a lot of audio, it would do this quivering thing, because what would happen is your audio peaks would hit the ALC circuit and it would back down the carrier. So you had to make sure that your carrier output level was, even if it was a 100-watt radio and they said it's 25 watts, is half of that, you had to cut it down another half to like 12.5 watts. So because of that, maybe they're just saying it works better because it doesn't hit the ALC. That's why I ended up having to run compressors, limiters, etc., etc. But you sound about the same. Over.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, that the fancy ALC circuits that we use, and of course I do have the compressor on a little bit. Anyway, we'll have to mess with that later. But anyways, SWL 52 is behind the golden microphone tonight, just like I was last night, late into the wee hours. Lots of fun last night.
Indeed. So I'm not sure if that's a weekly thing that will happen, but some of our shortwave listeners who cannot tune into the Friday night net would be able to go to the K6USY YouTube page at that time on Friday night and possibly listen in.
Most definitely. If I am around and available, it takes almost no effort to hit the start broadcast button.
All right, good deal. And yeah, it was an old Mike Durow thing, who's a boat anchor guy and a audio guy for sure. If you search for Durow Laboratories, but Mike Durow used to say you can put out 365 watts and modulate 100% to get your 1500 watt PEP AM carrier, or you can bring your carrier up to 800 or 900 watts and then under-modulate the radio to 75% or so, still get your 1500 watt PEP, but then you become more full quieting. It's just you're not as loud. So you have to see what band conditions warrant. If it's noisy, then you need more carrier and you can go with the less audio. If the band is open, you might as well go with less carrier and full audio. It's trickery, I tell you. Anyway, thanks for your trickery with the streams and feeds. We're all enjoying that, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Very good. I believe it's radio magic for you.
Somebody's been listening. Somebody's been paying attention to the jingle singers. See, I told you. They said nobody listens to us, and they do. SWL 53. Mr. Belair checked in early before the net. He said it was getting a little chilly out there. So, Bob, if you're listening, we do have you checked in. Switching the page, we are getting a check-in for SWL 54 and seeing if Eminem SWL 55 is listening in.
Trick or treat.
Wow, and sounding good. You will not get the rock tonight. Thanks for joining us up on the hill. And I think you are just above the snow, or just below the snow line.
No snow here, Dennis, just rain.
Yeah, I think you had to be up around 7,000 or so to actually get a little bit of snow on this storm. We'll see what happens coming up. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I will jump ahead because I will do that just so I don't lose my place. The place here from Wild Wildemar, where it probably doesn't snow unless you go way, way up in the hills. Is Mount Palomar around where you guys are? They probably don't get snow. Anyway, SWL 78 out there in Wild Wildemar. Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining us here on the 11-meter band for the Old Tube Radio Network. In a spot where it snows, but only when he says the magic word. SWL 56, hello, Phil.
Well, good evening, Dennis, and that kind of took me by surprise. I thought you might have skipped a couple. Anyways, enjoying the Saturday night trickery.
All right, and you have been a big part of that, no doubt. Yeah, I jumped up because there was one of the stations that was here right now, so I wanted to get them checked in. But I remembered this time. I had my finger on the computer screen to know where to go back. You are sounding good, and thanks for joining us. SWL 57, otherwise known as Mr. Brown Dog Audio, World Radio 942, amongst other titles, no doubt, in the DX world. Checking in one more time, as we all are, for 2023. But in the BDA Radio Lounge, you'd swear it was 1963 with all the tubes aglow. That is a great way to end the year, or at any day for that matter, is have a few classic radios ready to go, glowing and doing their thing. You are in the right spot for sure. Thanks for joining us from Southeast Kentucky. 57 with an X in the square. I'll give a half-hearted proxy to SWL 58. We were hoping he could get back in town here to give us some live action, or maybe join us sometime on the Skipland, which he will probably do. From his engagement over at Old Radio Night, Uncle Hairball, SWL 59, joining us. I see you are pre-checking in all the way through March with all those check-ins. But 59 sounding good. Thanks for joining us here on the West Coast. I don't know, if somebody do something in South America and we can get a Canadian tube radio, you can kind of work the whole map. Although we do have our connection with Albert and the gang, and I think they are out here tonight. Maybe we will, let's see if we can't pull up the link up later at the end of the net here and see what they're doing. They always sound good. Over to SWL 60, Joe with the antenna beaconing in the airwaves. Hello, radio.
Hello, Dennis. Thanks a whole lot. Hello to everyone, and Happy New Year to all. SWL 60 checking in on this mud station.
All right, I'm going to have to send you that, where is it, the little mud duck thing here, except I think you would, they would turn you down. They said, no, you don't qualify. You are definitely not a mud duck. Sounding good. If you have some radios, I noticed there's a couple of spaces on my list here for you tonight.
Thanks so much, Jay. Well, we probably do. Okay, Dennis.
All right, thanks. Let's see, games tonight. What is the game tonight?
Well, the only one I saw on the tube was Dallas and the Lions, and Dallas won.
Okay, well, then it is good to go for Old Tube Radio then. We'll catch you in a little bit. And 73 to Mr. Brown Dog Audio, signing off. Trying to get some. Got to remember, when we're on the Universal Media Net web, we are available everywhere. It could be early morning. You could be having your morning cup of coffee. You could be having your nightly Ovaltine. But thanks for joining us wherever you might be. SWL 61 checked in early, and if he's out there again, I'll put another X in the square.
61 checking in, Dennis.
All right, still sounding good and beaconing in, no problem. Thanks for picking me up.
Thank you, son. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are expecting big things in 2024. Maybe a studio remodel. I don't know. Maybe a new suit. I'll start slow. Let's go to SWL 62. SWL 63. Northeast Georgia, Mr. Butterbean. I will get you checked in wherever you might be. Live and direct, right here. I even saw him in the green room tonight before the net. SWL 64. Craig, looking good, saying Happy New Year to all friends, family, and who knows who. The Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks, Craig, for joining us way out here on the West Coast. Let's go to SWL 65.
Can you proxy him, please, Dennis?
I was just about to say, did I hear a proxy for SWL 65? Indeed. The Eric has checked in. Thanks.
Thank you.
SWL 66. SWL 67. All right, Bill, if you're listening up there in Oregon, where it's probably a lot more rain than we've been getting, we'll get you checked in. Hope the internet is working for you. All right, back to the studio. Palm Springs. Who's in? It's UDX 4570. I saw the picture of. I've never seen it in actual person, but it was Bob Hope's kind of space age UFO mid-century modern residence up there beaconing down off the hill. I don't know if that's exactly in Palm Springs or what's the other location there that everybody likes. We need to put up a few antennas over there. Now let's go to SWL 68, which I just did. Michael, I think you were on earlier saying, could you check me in? The NY 157. We will do that. SWL 69. I did see Tulsa in my list here earlier. Tulsa, Oklahoma. That would be none other than Kenny. So if you're watching the replay or are listening in live, you are checked in. Rancho Mirage, yeah, that's it. I couldn't remember. I'm thinking of Rancho. Was it like Cucamonga, where it was Cucamonga and they changed it to Rancho Cucamonga? Was it just Mirage? You know why? Nobody could see it. You think that's where you were going, and that wasn't there. So they had to call it Rancho Mirage. SWL 70. And I will refresh my page, but I know that that Stan out of Dallas, Georgia was in earlier, checking in. And hello to in the balcony tonight, Manteca. You know, there are probably some stations here with those, stacked 8-element beams up on a tower. We could point it down 99.
SWL 79.
And maybe talk to Manteca. Let me take a break here. I know they can talk to Atwater. KB6GFD, hello radio.
Let me in there, boss, if you could.
I can do that. On the crossband, 79 is looking good with the X and the square. Take it easy. KB6GFD.
6WRW.
All right, from the crossband, SWL 79. Kind of sneaking in. I just wonder, where is that voice coming from? That's Mr. DC. And I just wanted to confirm, I did see Stan checking in about an hour ago, or at oldtuberadio.net. SWL 72. SWL 73. SWL 74, I've got a proxy check-in for Miss Jilly. SWL 75. Heading over to the Big Island. No, the Little Island. Or maybe it's bigger, I don't know. Anyway, Johnson, Rhode Island for Red Fox 1. Checking in and wishing all a Happy New Year, and likewise. SWL 77.
And SWL 77 here, and I just got to tell you, Dennis, boy, you sound so good coming through that big speaker on the Cam 88. I hope everybody has a wonderful, safe weekend and a Happy New Year. And boy, I tell you, conditions today were just amazing. And I got lucky, and I tossed one into Ukraine. So I got a contact out of Ukraine and Portugal, of all places, this morning. So there you go. That's the sum of it here. And boy, Dennis, we sure appreciate everything you do with OTR.
All right. Well, it's good to be here in the air chair, and it's good to have this venue locally and beaconing everywhere else to encourage people to do likewise with vintage radios, with getting on the air, and like what you just said, is having a good time with the radio hobby. And Ukraine and those places are just not. I'm going to get in and key the microphone because I got 4,000 watts. That's not how it's done. There's a little bit of planning, like being in the right spot at the right time, being on the right frequency, getting up early, being the first one possibly, waiting for the band to open, knowing when it's going to open, and stuff like that. So thanks for putting the technical part together so you can do it. But you've got a good station. I put the meter up so people could see the 50 dB over S9 signal coming in here. And I'll guarantee you this guy's not right down the street. But just he knows how to put up an antenna that works. Anyway, you're sounding good, sir.
Thank you, sir. And really appreciate everything you do, Dennis. 73.
All right, here on the Old Tube Radio Network. So 77 is checked in. 78, I got Wild Wildemore on just a bit earlier, and I see that the X is in the square. And 79, that is Philip, who you just heard moments ago over on the cross-band situation. Also want to say hello to a couple of stations that stopped by, oldtuberadio.net. The Rabbit Hunter. Thank you, Radford, for joining us from Collinsville, Alabama. I believe is it Greeley, Colorado, or somewhere up there, up where it really does snow. Rob is listening in and saying Happy New Year to all the OTR gang, wishing good conditions on the band for 2024. I think we are still in 2024 for cycle, is it 25? Still looking pretty good. We've got triple-digit numbers on the SFI and the sunspot numbers coming in and out. So it's been working well so far. So a little will go a long way if you're like Dennis and you can get the antenna where you need it. You don't need a lot of power. Get the antenna where you need it and be in the right spot. Get in line early. so you get in. You get in on the DX before the crowd is a little bit too big. DirectNet roll call is where we are at, and the radios are coming up shortly, so don't go away. SWL 80, SWL 81, and that's a page turn. Squatch Zone, hello to you. Thanks for the Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. We do this every Saturday beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and we've been doing it for a long, long time. So join us when you can. Speaking of joining us, here's a guy that works overtime on Friday evenings, SWL 82.
82 checking in. And thanks for doing the show tonight, Dennis. Sounded good in my neighborhood. 82 from the Ditch Banks, Iowa.
All right, sounding good. You're on Radio X tonight. Sounds pretty good. I was listening to you tuning in and tuning up, and there's that magic spot on those things. It's like we were talking before. It's like, do you want a little bit better audio and you can forego a little bit of S meter, or do you want a lot of S meter and the audio will be, well, it's kind of there. I think you've got a good, whatever you did, you've got a good balance. It's nice and loud. It looks good on the meter. It doesn't look like it's straying the wrong way, and all that stuff is good. A reminder that the voice you just heard, wait a minute, key up again.
Yes, 82 here, Ditch Banks, Iowa. And why don't you join us Friday night, 8 o'clock. Channel 36, lower sideband for the Ditch Banks sideband net. Thanks.
All right, thanks. And just a note that the voice that you did just hear is the voice that runs that net on Friday nights here on the West Coast Pacific time. And we have, I think, coming up next week, possibly a link-up through the K6USY YouTube page, where you will be able to join us via the miracle of the link up there. So put the post-it on your radio to get in that way. And there's also a chat window. We'll look for you. We'll look for you there. Also want to say hello to Levon. Oh, Levon, I see you. All right. A little bit late. Late is okay. As long as you see the glowing 606 at oldtuberadio.net, you are not too late. Also want to say hello to one of the, and we had Mark in earlier, one of the Voodoo Audio crew, and just a really nice guy. One of those people that wants to make sure that if you have a radio, one, it's working, and that you can have fun doing it, and he will help you out to make sure that you achieve that goal. Hello, Brian. Happy New Year. The Basic Dennis here in the air chair. You're sounding good. I have not been on the right frequency at the right time to hear you all, but we will do a little bit better in 2024. But thanks for taking the time to jump into the digital air chair and join us here in the virtual Old Tube Radio Network studios. SWL 83. SWL 84, and we'll do the quadruple play here. 86 and 87 and 88, and of course that's Jerry the Cheerios Kid, who you can hear on his Old Tube radio, his Swan radio on the noontime, Jefferson noontime net on the 80 and 75. No, keep going on 40 meters at 7204 when he is net controller, and always doing a good job and sounding good on that. We'll also get Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl checked in as well. Let's go to SWL 89. SWL 90. Got a proxy check in for 90. Let's head way out that way to SWL 91. And SWL 92. SWL 93. Jimmy checked in earlier, 777. He was sounding good on, I already talked to him last night, over on the Ditch Banks sideband net, doing a good job on his sideband radio. SWL 95. And let's see, a lot of people might be out. I'm going to get a proxy check in for 95. SWL 96, that is Mr. Prune Picker. Dennis, who checked in a little bit earlier. You've got the X in the square. I want to say hello to Gail, who says, hello all. This so reminds me of my dad on his ham radio when I was a kid. Well, I might be dressed like your dad when he was on the ham radio, because this is, it was a classy thing to be on your two-way radio before there were computers and cell phones, and it was serious business, and it still is. Although we do have a good time, and a lot of us are ham radios as well, or ham radio operators as well. We might be hams and ham radios. So Gail, thanks for the good word, and you have, without knowing it, pegged exactly why we are here, why we do this, is to recreate the look, the sound, the feel, not only with our semi-witty banter, but also with the gear as well, with the gear from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, with the glowing vacuum tubes that not only look cool, but have that nice little smell of burning dust and component parts getting warm and all that stuff. That's why we are here, and you picked up on it right away, so thanks for that. Let's go to SWL 97. I've got to get on the right page. And there's Kenny. Kenny, I see you. We did get you checked in, but I want to say hello, radio. I'll also get Jim out of Boston, 97, checked in. And Tracy, SWL 98. Did I hear you last night? You were really loud on the Ditch Banks last night. Somebody was. If it wasn't you, it was somebody who sounded a lot like you. All right, Tracy. I like that, checking in. I can copy that. SWL 99, Radio Randy. We've had a lot of the 40 meter crew check in tonight. Randy is one of the few that has actually checked in live over the air from his radio station near Phoenix here on 27085. So we'll get Randy checked in if you're listening, watching the replay, or maybe you're listening in trying to get in. If I would just get through the roll call in time. All right, somebody's crankling some paper. Justin, hello. Thanks for joining us. I have to go over to, and I haven't even checked it out, but it will probably work. Let's go over to, let's go over to the Echo link tonight and see if we can't talk to our director of TOTA, that's Tubes on the Air. He is ready to fire up his activation in just moments. KB6GFD, KD4BAO, take a transmission to him. And he will join us via Echo Link here tonight.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Back to net control, KD4BAO.
All right, and as always, sounding good on the Echo Link. Tony is joining us from McClellanville, South Carolina, where, they know a good tube radio when they see it out there, and he's going to get us activated with Tubes on the Air. Thanks, Tony. 73, KB6GFD. So we're in the triple digits. It won't be long now. Let's go to SWL 102. John is right there. Saying hello, radio from Scranton, Arkansas. 73 to all. Thank you, John. Let's go to, where are we going? South Carolina. South Carolina does a good job of beaconing in here when Skip is rolling hot and heavy. And it's very possible that Joey could be in that mix. Tango Romeo 21 X-Ray. Checking in, and hello from the one traffic light in Hickory Tavern, South Carolina. When he keys up his mobile, Joey can make that traffic light go from red to green with a little bit of finesse on the microphone. But don't tell anybody. Okay, 103, Joey, we've got you checked in, and you know when you're in the big time. I look to see if they're putting up another traffic light somewhere. That's South Carolina for you. Yeah, we just talked to Tony out there in McClellanville and Joey. So South Carolina is definitely on the map here in the old Tube Radio Network. Up the hill for SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, you are sounding good. All is well. And I hope you're having a good weekend so far. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Dennis, and I hope you're having a great weekend.
I am. I've got big plans for tomorrow. I think the rain has stopped, so I will have to do those big plans rather than make an excuse. So all is well. Thanks for joining us. SWL 110. Shortwave listener 111. I was checking to see if Robert checked in. Yeah, about an hour ago, checking in here. Happy New Year to everyone. Stay safe and have fun. If you can't, just make some stuff up. Well, I like that. That's what I do all the time. This year is looking good in the mirror, and next year is looking good coming up as well. So thank you, Robert, for the good words. And we are certainly going to try and make it a good 2024. Let's go to SWL 113. Yeah, Mr. OBP, you got it. Although I did a lot last week. I did a lot of the yard work because I knew it was going to rain and got the leaves, trash cans full of all that stuff raked up. But now that the dust has settled and you can rake without dust, I'm sure I will be out there doing a few things. SWL, let's see, no 113. I think we will get a bite. I'm going to throw my hook out. We usually get a nice bite on this one. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114, hello, Wayne. You are sounding good as always, and I've got the X in the square. Happy New Year, and thanks for joining us.
Happy New Year to you too, Dennis, and all the listeners.
Directed net roll call. The tube radios are coming up in a moment, so don't go away. Oops. I'm pressing the wrong buttons, and were I to do that, I'm going to throw myself off the air. All right, that looks good. Let's go to SWL 128. I don't see, I don't see 128, but I will get John checked in from Fairfax, Virginia, because he is an SWL. He will figure out a way to listen in regardless of whether he can actually let me know. And oh, he's right there. See, I knew it. I just have to look at the right spot. John, you never let me down. That's a true SWL. By hook or by crook, by clip lead on the window screen, by stringing wire through the attic. I don't know how you do it. 128, I will make it official by clicking that button. Thanks for joining us. SWL 131. Shortwave listener 133. And stop the presses. Were the presses running? I don't know. Let me go back up the list. SWL 99, I will make it official right over there, and we will make it official by clicking the button. Radio Randy, like I mentioned, one of the very few who has beaconed in from afar, right here on Channel 11. I see a Randy. How's your audio? Your audio is perfect. There's not a thing wrong with your audio. And we have got you checked in. Thanks for joining us. There is not a speck of DX, or as we say, there's not a speck of skip at the moment. But we'll let you know. We'll send the runners out your way if the band should open up. 99 is checked in. Thanks for stopping what you were doing and turning the dials to the old tube radio network. Radios are coming right up. Let's go to shortwave listener 135.
Hello, SWL 135. If this thing is working, I'm checking in.
It's working great, and indeed you are checking in, and I put the X in the square over.
And that's a good deal.
This is the good deal frequency. I'll see you in a bit. SWL 137. Up in Coarse Gold, SWL 145. And I don't hear Tony. He is not on the Echo link. He may have some other items of interest going up. Tony does the Friday mornings, which I haven't been in months now because the schedule just doesn't allow such things. But he does the Friday night. Oh, let me see if he left some questions real quickly. Questions he asked. The ARX2B antenna is made by which company? That's a Ringo Ranger, so that would be Cushcraft. And which amateur band is usable for ionospheric propagation to somewhere more of the time than any other band? Okay, so ionospheric, I think that's the trick word, the ionospheric propagation to somewhere more of the time than any other band. I was going to say 20 meters, but then I realized, sometimes at night, 20 meters will be out. But the true answer is 40 meters because, during the day it's local, a couple hundred miles, 500 miles, NVIS. And at night, likewise, but it changes. It goes long. You'll hear Hawaii here from the West Coast. You'll hear, the East Coast. You'll hear Canada. South America. So 40 meters pretty much always open. It does some great changes. Maybe not the DX like you would get on 20 meters, but usable for ionospheric propagation most of the time. And we could only imagine 11 meters being like that. But that would sometimes it is like that. We have trouble checking people in. All right, thanks, Tony. Let's go to SWL 147. Neil checked in earlier, and I got him on the list. Over to SWL 188.
Good evening time, Dennis. Good evening time to all SWLs. 188 checking in.
188 sounding good there, Snow Beast. As always, thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network, and that is the sound of Snow Beast Jr., Bobby, and you might recognize his voice from some of those video gates that you all watch for the guys shooting the DX. Bobby is our 559 DX aficionado. Thanks for joining us.
10-4 evening time and Happy New Year.
It is coming up. Let's try SWL 195. I will get, Jim, if you're watching the replay, I'm getting you checked in, or if you're listening and I can't hear you, which is possible, I am definitely getting you checked in. And the SWL 226, and anybody I missed listening. And who is it? Route 9. I got one of those headphones like this. These are the Sony 7506, like pair number 2 or 3. I don't beat them up too much. They're nice. They're a good medium. You know, they're not super duper, and they don't kill your. They don't give you a headache. Let's put it that way. At least not for the 2 hours I do this. There are other ways I can get a headache. So there you go. And thank you, Pop.
Hello, radio.
Thank you, Popcorn. Oh, we got it. We got an item. Hold on here. Hello, radio from KV6GFD. I think we got Tony coming in on the crossband. If you can hear me.
Good evening, Dennis, and Happy New Year to you and all the SWLs. 145 checking in from Course Gold. Back to net control.
All right, perfect timing. I just went by your number. We read the questions of the day. I almost got one of them correct, but interesting nonetheless. You are sounding good from up the hill. Thanks for joining us, and you are checked in. KB6GFD.
D6PD clear, and Happy New Year.
Okay, I'm going to jump away for a minute, make sure everything is set up to do the tube radios, which is why we're here. That's why we call it the Old Tube Radio Network. Back in a bit for your glow-in-the-dark pleasure, OTR.
STR stream is going. A6VLF. All right, Dennis, check your Facebook Messenger, and you'll have the latest, the SDR stream address, K6VLF.
All right, copy. I see the visual of the stream, and I'll see if I can do the address link. Thanks, KB6GFD.
And the SDR stream, SDR view is now live.
And of course, they won't let me put a link up. Okay. So let's try this, shall we?
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Your Old Tube Radio Network, 27085 in the Central Valley of California. Channel 11 is where we hang out. That's the crystal of choice for those tube radios back in the day. If there was one channel to be installed, it was probably Channel 11. And so here we are. Oh, I see a light. Let me turn that off. Is that? Wow. See that? Okay, we don't need that on. I will turn that off. My name is Dennis Net Control. It is time for the tube radios. The Larry Cam link is up. Were I to actually give you an address for that, which is not, it will not allow me to do that, and I think it's some fail-safe thing, which I'm not sure exactly how to turn off, you would be able to see that. But I will be able to get that going for you here tonight when appropriate. In fact, let me see if it's dialed up here. Let's see. Let's take a look at there's my radio at 27085. Yeah, that's what we're looking for right there. So we'll take a picture of some of the other radios as well. All right, I've got the tube radio list ready to go, and I'm saying you're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, and we're taking check-ins.
135, 135.
And let's go 135 while you are there. And Foxman, I agree. I didn't know the light was on here on the control room. So step right up, Mr. Cliff, to the air chair, and we will see what you are doing tonight, helping us to populate the radio list. Over.
Okay, cool, because it's really cold and wet out here. So let's get right to it then, shall we? This is SWL 135 on a radio from the Sonar Radio Corporation in Brooklyn, New York. This is the Sonar Model H, as in Happy New Year. Back to you.
Oh, okay. We have one of the Facebook groups, I think, is Friends of Trams, or Browning Sonars and Trams. So hopefully a few of them are out there tonight to actually have one of their fave radios on tonight from Sonar. I'm looking through the Rolodex, and I'm I'm not finding it. Oh, okay, Model H. You know, you just have to make sure you are in the right item, and you have to know the alphabet. And were you to do that, you come up with, look at that, from the collection of yours truly. Over.
I don't think you've got a picture of mine. You sure you don't? I think you might have a picture of Harvey's.
Okay, it's the Sonar Model H, and it has an external speaker with it.
Right, he's got the cool external speaker, but I have other goodies hooked up to this. Let's do the radio rundown, shall we? Let's see, this thing has 9 tubes, but only 8 channels, including an external 8th channel, which has both a transmit and receive external crystal. Something you usually don't see. It's usually one or the other. The microphone is the, I don't know what model this is, but it's the gray plastic handheld unamplified microphone that comes with these things. And I have right next to it here the also external, because everything just plugs into this thing. SC3, that's sonar call number 3, sonar call unit.
The sonar call unit, very good. All right, we've got the picture. You've got a nice little hook at the beginning of your key up that goes low and then goes right on frequency almost. What I should do is switch to sideband and we can hear that. Let me try that next time. Modulation sounds good. Comments are already coming in. Everybody likes the modulation on that radio with the sonar microphone, which even, was it JT, the Dirty Diaper, that says they call it the piece of toast microphone. It has a really big area. And it's not just a little hole in a piece of plastic. It's a nice big grill. And there's a lot of area to pick up, to transduce your voice. I am curious about the Sierra Charlie number 3, which I don't think I have a picture of here, but you will tell us about it. Over.
Okay, yeah, and the mic has a nice bass relief Wirtz sonar, as part of the plastic. I am a teeny bit high. Yeah, I got 0852 somewhere around there. So I'm a teeny bit high in frequency, but yeah, let's do this. This is the reason for the season. For Happy New Year. For whom does the sonar call? It calls for thee. Okay, how's that?
Okay, and it's just the tone is just coming on the screen right now. You can see the lines. It reminds me, and maybe it's set up that way, of the old style dial tone. Over.
Yeah, it kind of does. There's some envelope to it. There's a little attack decay, sustain, release, unlike your average dial tone. But yeah, the actual tone generation, it's a two-tone kind of thing. I can't wait to hear this. I cannot hear this at all, here on this end. So yeah, I can't wait to hear it and see it on the waterfall display. That sounds like it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, somebody says it sounds like a Pong, who is it, Foxman? It sounds like a Pong video game between telephone dial. And it's not obnoxious. Sometimes the warbly tones and screechy things, if you're wearing headphones, you got stuff turned out loud. It's kind of a pleasant tone. It's almost space age like the way it happens. Before you, let's see, give it about a second before you key up. I'm going to go to sideband. I want to see if we can actually hear your radio dial in on frequency there. So go ahead. Over.
Okay, I thought I'd give you about 3 seconds. Was that enough? Back to you.
It's enough, but you are so close to being on frequency, and the shift is so slight that it's a low enough frequency we really don't hear it, because you are almost right on frequency. I don't think you're anywhere close to being 200 cycles off, more like 20, if I would guess. So it's good. Nice audio, from when I'm looking for the item here. When did Sonar build these radios? I want to say in the early to mid 60s, the Model H, and it's not even 23 channels, so it's one of the early ones.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I know where it was built and everything, but I don't know when these were made. I don't have a date on these, so yeah, if anybody knows, chime in there. I also happen to have the Sonar signal strength meter hooked up. Like I say, I've got all the goodies plugged into it. I even have I'm actually using a Hammerland external speaker into the external speaker jack for improved sound quality. It's just kind of, it's a tiny radio with an awful lot of stuff plugged into it. Let's see, the squelch control in the center is kind of interesting because it's a pull-on, it's a push-on, pull-off automatic noise limiter circuit, which I've discovered is extremely necessary. It does choke off a lot of the, as usual, the audio quality and, the frequency response, but boy, is it necessary. The antenna light is flashing with my modulation. Everything appears to be working okay. I don't have much swing in my thing, but so the audio's okay?
The audio is good. We're getting a lot of good reports. We put the S meter up. It's moving pretty good. It's showing that you probably are close to 100% modulation, and I found a shot in the Rolodex of the SC3, not only front side but back side. I went back to the radio as you were describing. Let me see if I can go close up to the squelch. Looks like there's some external crystal sockets. I like the way that they give you a spot where you could physically write in, and I don't know what you could, if you have to use a little felt tip pen, or maybe you could put the Dymo labels, maybe that's what it's for, the markers on your 8 channels, where you could mark what they are, or the frequencies. The microphone looks like a 1/4-inch phone jack, but I'm sure it may be a TRS. It may be something. That's interesting. I like the Sonar logo with the world. I'm going to go back to the SC3, and then I'll turn it back to you. We'll go to the front of the unit here, where it's interesting. It has the call light. It's on a little stand, kind of a strange-looking stand, and then the normal standby and call and a volume switch. So a very rare thing, but this goes back to what we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, that the call boxes or the call tones were an external device, not built into the radio like they were with the general radio telephone. So maybe making the FCC happy. Looks cool. Back to you, over.
Okay, let's hear it one more time. Sorry, I'm going to really love hearing that thing. It plugs into like an octal jack in the back of the radio that says Sonar Call, and it is a pretty neat little unit. That volume control, if you're looking at it, actually does affect your receive volume. See, you ordinarily need a like a plug, with some jumpers on it in the back for your internal speaker to work, right? So it seems to hook up to the volume control in some way, because I can adjust my receive volume with that knob as well as the volume control on the radio. So I kind of found a balance between them. It is an interesting little device, and I just wish somebody else had one out there so you could see if these things work. That little call light has never gone on. You have to put it into standby mode where it locks, and then theoretically, I guess that light would come on and indicate that it had received those tones. At least I think. I also have no paperwork on the SC3, so that's another thing I'm looking for. Back to you.
Rare. I don't know if that would show up in a Sam's photo fax or not. I see the octal plug, and like you said, that goes into the back. I'm going to go back to the Model H radio, but the tone, or what did OBP call it? A dual something. It scrolled off my screen, but he had the name for it. And I'm looking. Okay, back to the picture here, to the front of the radio. Yeah, we'll have to see it. You maybe you should get out when Skipland is going on and just keep putting the call out there. When it's in standby, does it squelch? Is that what you said? When it's up to standby, it squelches the radio?
Oh yeah, you lose your receive if you put it in the standby mode. And I think what you're looking for, yeah, this might be an early form of DTMF, dual tone multifunction. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, I think that's what he was referring to, is the dual tone. So yeah, maybe it's, like you said, it's listening for that. It'll break the squelch, and then you will be able to say, oh, they're calling for me.
Yeah, theoretically, or calling all sonars. I wonder about that, if there's a way to, I think there's a way inside the box you can alter the tone a little bit here or there. So again, I'm not sure how they meant these things to work, if all the polycoms would go off when that tone was hit, or all the sonars, or all the other tone devices. Would they activate everybody's, or maybe just be on a different channel? I don't know. I just use these things.
Yeah, as when somebody said your CB private line with the dual tone burst. Okay, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go off frequency a little bit. Okay, and then when you key up this time, I think I'll be able to hear your hook coming in. So give it a second, and then key the radio on the old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, how's that for hook time? Here comes the hook. Everybody stabilize. How long does it take for it to stabilize in frequency?
It doesn't take any time at all. So when you key up, don't say anything for about a second. All right, when you key up, don't say anything for about a second, because it's a very quick item. Yeah, it's very quick. You gotta be listening to catch it. But it looks like, if I can get the photo back up, there it is. Let's go back and you can see it a couple of times here. There it is. That was me on sideband moving around. There's the hook. There's me on sideband trying to get back on frequency, and there I am again. All right, cool stuff. Over.
Groovy, yes, I think it is cool. And I'm starting to turn into a solid block of ice. Oh, hey, we're starting to get some clouds again. It was getting really cold there with the clouds gone, but I'm looking up and I see there are more drifting along way up there. And with that, I'm going to say Happy New Year to all the SWLs and everybody else around the world listening on the YouTube. Thanks for letting me check this thing in. I can't wait to hear everybody else's stuff. This is the Saturday night place to be.
As it has been for quite a while. Actually, thanks to our tube radio operators like yourself and the SWL. I put in the S meter if you're watching. If you're watching this back, Cliff, hello. If you're watching this back on Tuesday afternoon or whatever, you can give yourself a signal report, and you can see that you are indeed 9 pounds, good modulation, somewhere near Chestnut in Herndon. The sonar model H, with not the sonar speaker, but the SC3, and I think you said that was for sonar call.
I think it is. It doesn't say that specifically, but it says sonar call on the back of the radio, and it says SC, Sierra Charlie -3 on the little tone unit. So I'm assuming it stands for sonar call.
All right, well, that sounds good enough to me. A good way to start out the radios tonight. very interesting. Look at all the contraptions that one needed for a good solid communications. External speakers and the large radio and the microphonium and the plug in the back and the sonar call. It's almost, I mean, the radios today almost don't seem like any fun. Call up a menu and it's all done. There's nothing to attach. So there has to be something said for mid-century modern technology. Thanks for bringing it by.
Try again, 37.
37, step up into the air chair. You will be radio number 2. We were going to head off for the jingle singers to do what they do best, and then we'll be right back to you on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, and maybe even you. And I'm sure it is for you. Hello, Chris.
Thank you, sir. It must be me. Anyway, Dennis, I would like to check in my Chris 23 plus CB transceiver, 23 channel tuber that glows in the dark, and we are running this here with the handheld original microphone. Over.
The original microphone, does it say Chris on it, or does it have some manufacturer's name on the microphonium?
This one says Chris, K-R-I-S.
All right, I'm looking for a shot here of the Chris radio. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I think I see the microphone in the back of the shot here, but it's not full screen so we can see it. Although we see the radio, a nice radio. Sounds good. Mod light, so make it blink a little bit by keying up.
Oh yeah, well it's blinking right now, and yeah, that where it says Chris is right in the very center of it, right there in the front.
And Chris also, they made some radios. They made an amplifier, I think, and they had that cool. I don't know what font that is. The KRIS with a little, almost like a crown on the I. That is, I don't know if that was a special font made just for them, because that's the only place I remember seeing that style of lettering. But maybe it is some special, it's got a name or something. But I could always tell the Chris just by the way they wrote their name on the front of the radio. Over.
Oh yeah, very bold black lettering too.
Looking good, the Chris 23 Plus. Now, I wonder if there was a Chris 23. There might have been. I'll have to look in my archives. The Panasonic number 2 chassis, which was the 11-tube style that had the 12AX7 from the mic preamp, and I'm not sure what the output, 6BQ5, I think, on one of those. Also could run 12-volt DC because it's got 2 transistors in there somewhere, and it is indeed plate modulated.
Yeah, and it works.
It works, and it's yours. Take a transmission. I'll put the S meter up so you can give yourself a radio check here.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. Here's what I see. Over here it shows I'm keying up roughly 3.5 to 4 watts, and swing up to about 8.
I'm going to put the picture of your radio. There's my radio. Oh, whoa. Okay, there you are. You are about a kc and a half low. I think that's you. Now your little hook goes from high, and then dials in on frequency. Cliff's went low and dials in on frequency. So go ahead and come back in again. Yeah, you're about a kc and a half low, as shown by the picture here. Over.
Okay. Well, you caught what I said. What I was doing on Body's Rise, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, but okay. If you say I'm low.
Low on frequency, but not low enough where I can't, decipher you on my receiver. But it's about a kc. You're at 27083 and a half, according to the Larry Cam here.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I don't know how to turn it back down where that's at, but Harvey does.
Yeah, well, that's probably if it's a crystal or synthesizer replacement or some other stuff. Not a problem, as long as you know where you're at, right?
Yes, it says Channel 11.
Channel 11 is the place to be on a Saturday evening. Radio number 2 from the correct collection of Chris, the Chris, KRIS, 23 plus, and all its plate modulated glory. Thanks for bringing it by over.
No problem. Well, I've got another one. I'm just going to flip a switch, and I'll be right back.
All right, and it goes without saying that this is the switch flipping frequency. I will flip the switch over to the other studio where the Jingle Singers have this to say about that.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we are listening for radio number 3.
37.
Wow, this is yet another loud one. Go ahead, over 37.
Oh, this is loud, okay. Well, this time here, Dennis, I would like to check in my G PowerMate by Jim Marine Products. This is a 23-channel tuber. It glows in the dark. And I am running this here with an amplified D104 Lollipop. And let's see, I think that's about it that I can think of. Over.
All right, that is probably why it shows up louder, because it is an amplified on the microphone. And here we are, Jim Marine PowerMate photo from the collection of Chris. Now, believe it or not, internally, I believe this radio is very similar to the one you just had. It just has an extra light and some other items that are popped out on the front panel here, but I think it's also plate modulated. So you've got two of a kind in different clothing there.
Yeah, the chassis, you look at them, when I've had them on before, I mean, they look identical. The outside of it, the front plate of it and everything's in the same spots except for the microphone. The microphone is all the way over to the right on the G PowerMate, and is right in the middle on the Chris. And the PA and CB radio part is right there and sitting on the right on both of them. The channel selector is in the same spot. The channel selector viewpoint, one's a square and one's like a quarter moon. And this one here has two lights to transmit and receive. And it's got the standby and all of that stuff there. But yeah, it's a pretty radio. It's a pretty blue one.
Indeed it is. I've got the Larry Cam, we've got your picture, and very similar to the other radio. It starts out a little high, keys into the frequency. You are about a kc and a half low, similar to the other one. We see a little bit wider, more defined audio because it is amplified. Jim Marine Products sounding good. That radio belongs in a boat for Happy Year's New Year party in 2024. One of our listeners say, are you going to go out in the boat with the Jim Marine on New Year's Day? Over.
I doubt if I'm going to go get on a boat, though, but be kind of cold. I don't have a boat either, so I guess I'd have to say no, I'm not.
Okay, I don't have a boat either, or else I'd, maybe get a 102-inch whip, and we could go out with the Jim Marine Products made on the boat. Looking good. It's very similar, transmit-wise, to the other radio, as I guess, well, it should be, because of, get the right picture here, it is a Panasonic chassis back from, I think, 1972 to 1976 is when those came out, and it is our third radio of the evening and sounding perfectly acceptable for the Old Tube Radio Network.
It just keeps working good. I'm not complaining. But this is a nice-looking radio, I think. It's been taken care of, I believe.
on Channel 11. So Channel 11 should be highlighted with the white or the gold lettering, or the numbering rather, and then 12 and 10 are right beside it. The meter, switchable meter, S or RF, it doesn't automatically select when you key the transmitter, so I'm not sure if you can. If you want to give me if you want to give me a signal report, you got to be on the S.
On the S. Well, right now see, the 11 is right dead center, and in that plate right there where the letters are, the channels are, there's a hole right in the very center, which lets you know when you get on the frequency on the channel. For that there turns from green or blue or whatever the color is to the white or off-white, and that's how you know which channel you're on. Over.
Right, and Channel 11, the Saturday night place to be, is where you are at. Thanks for bringing by radio number 3. Gem Marine, well, if you ever get a boat, you know what radio you're supposed to put on it.
Absolutely. Well, I've had a couple of boats, and I don't need no more. I'm getting too old for that. All right, Dennis, I'm going to get out of here. I've got another one to warm up. I couldn't have that one warmed up because it don't have the standby switch, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, well, I've never had a boat. I don't even have a rubber ducky. And that probably wouldn't even float as well, so good stuff. Thanks for bringing it by, the Old Tube Radio Network. And the Jingle Singers, I guess they really want to make sure that, if they get all their songs out by the end of the year. We'll be back in a minute. What are we looking for? We're looking for radio number 4, if it's out there.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
If I may, I'd like to check in.
This is the place to be on a Saturday evening for your Old Tube radio pleasure. Let me clear the radios, and I know what that one is. I'm getting good at this. After, 30-something years, I'm actually finally catching on. There is hope for me yet. Key up that E.F. Johnson, over.
Yeah, you make me laugh there, but I imagine you would be. Doggone it, I would like to check in my Johnson Messenger, Dennis, my TOO.
The Messenger TWO. Yeah, it's not a Messenger, Roman numeral 2 or number 2, but the Messenger TWO, spelled out Tango Whiskey Oscar, now, as it says on the end, with the tunable receiver. So no doubt one of those knobs, instead of going click, 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 just kind of rotates around and dials the frequency you want.
Yeah, kind of a nice radio. That part is, they're dinky. I mean, about the size of a pencil. I think the front lights are the channel and channel selector. You got to be looking right dead into it like a telescope, man, if you want to know where you're at. This one come to me, Dennis, this radio here. It's AC, it's all strictly AC. You can't use it, I guess, in the car unless you've got a setup for electricity, I guess. But this is a 10-2 Johnson with 10 channels, and Harvey did. It was hardwired when I got it with the microphone, original mic. It was hardwired directly to the radio, but Harvey turned it off. Turned it and worked on it on the side there, cut out a slot for a D104, and that's what we're using right now.
Well, looks good. I'll bring up the Larry Cam because this is very interesting. You also have a little hook when it keys up. You're close on frequency, but it's got some good wide audio. Were you to want to do the fidelity audio thing, I think that radio would play quite well, and we'll take a look at the picture to describe that. The advertisement calls it 23-channel tunable receiver, which it is, 10-channel transmit, which it is. Yeah, why they didn't make that window a little bit bigger, I don't know. I think they're just trying to fit a rotating wheel in there, and that's all the space they had, to cut it out so you can see what they have. Excellent channel rejection, improved noise limiter circuit, and that one improved, I think, over the Messenger 1 or the Whiteface. Plug-in provision for the tone alert selective calling system, which we talked about last week, and on our previous radio with Cliff, the Sonar had a kind of tone alert. So that was a thing. There were a lot of stations that, since you were supposed to be talking to your own license, it's like, we don't want to hear that neighbor down the street. We don't want to talk DX. We just want to talk to Unit 2 and ask them to bring home a loaf of bread. So why do we need all that noise? So that's what the tone calls for. Or perhaps you have a business. And it's like, Unit 2, pick up widget. Here it is. Okay, you talk about the 12-volt DC, 6-volt DC. There's a 24162, which was 6-volt or 115-volt. And the 242-163, which was 115-volt or the 12-volt DC. So my guess is they had a plug included that would do 115, and then there was another plug included that either had the wired for the 6-volt or the 12-volt, however they did it, depending on which number you bought. Waseca, Minnesota, E.F. Johnson Company. I wonder if radio, Larry, ham radio guy, Larry out of, I think it was Minnesota, is still around, because he worked for E.F. Johnson. It was a great place. It was a great place to work. All right, take a transmission. We're going to take a look at your signal and see what it's doing, and take a look at that audio. I like what I was seeing. Go ahead.
Okay, Dennis. Well, you said something about a couple of plugs. There's a couple in the back. One definitely on the AC side, but there's also one.
All right, here comes his radio coming
back. Now I don't know. Maybe that's the one that that's probably where you plug in to go. So you can go directly into your car. I'm not sure. Now there's another switch on the right side, on the bottom, on the right side of it, towards the middle of the you're going to the back. There's a switch there also. You switch it back, and the radio turns off. I don't know exactly what that switch is for.
Yeah, Harvey would know for sure. Let me go back to the Larry Cam. That audio is almost 8K wide. It's like each sideband is almost out to 4 kilohertz. So anybody that's thinking of, that's doing the audio thing for some wideband audio. Now, here's the radio you might want to think about getting, that E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. And what microphone did you say you were using over?
Dennis, Harvey wired a gray bass D104. Like I said, when I first originally got it, the cord come from under the radio. And I thought maybe the fellow that owned it may have dropped it holding onto the cord, and it had a cut on it. So Harvey just bypassed that and come out through the side and fixed me up so I could run this gray bass D104 on it.
And that does not have the battery in it, right? It's unamplified?
No, this is an amplified microphone. I haven't checked the battery here lately, and I'm not sure how far it's turned up. But I'll check that next time. Yeah, this is a powered D104.
Okay, now I'm looking at the channel selector. I see the ABC. You can see that, but boy, that really is tiny on the screen there. So let me go to the Orban meter. I'll go back to your picture. So yeah, were you to ever get into the hi-fi audio biz, that is the radio you want to use for your audio rack. It is actually wider than what I'm doing. Of course, I'm doing a lot of amplification, so you can see the more intensity if you're looking at the picture, but interesting. I will keep that in mind. And it sounds good with the D104. That's not to say you have to do any trickery to do anything to get the audio on. And pretty much a little bit low on frequency, but not bad at all. The Messenger TWO, and that was their flagship radio for quite some time. till they came out with the 223, which is right behind me, which is the same radio, by the way. They just kind of turned it sideways and put the power supply in there and an S meter and 23 channels and brought that speaker out to the front. So that's why they called it the 223 with the 23 channels. So you basically have that radio. Doing a good job. I'm glad you brought it by. And once you get that first key up or that key down, the little stutter in the modulation goes away. It performs 100% each time. Over.
Well, yes, I'd like to hear that. It probably brings some awareness up to me on how to key this thing up. But anyway, I appreciate it. You let me check this one in, and like I say, the selector and the whatchamacallit, thank God the lights are there, because there's no way I'd see them behind that black screen. And the light that tells me that I'm on the air is behind the screen also. That's a bright orange light. And it's sometimes a lot of fun. I forget when I turn the radio on to just flip it on, because if I go any further with it, I'm in the squelch position. Kind of a crazy setup they got on this, but thanks for letting me check this one in, Dennis.
37.
All right, 37, don't go away. It'll be Radio 5. And I just want to take one more little transmission here. E.F. Johnson is celebrating their 100th year as a company. Just as an aside, the company called E.F. Johnson for Edgar Frederick Johnson out of Waseca, Minnesota, in the USA, of course, was founded in 1923 by Edgar F. Johnson and his wife Ethel. Edgar and Ethel. Almost sounds like the neighbors to Lucy, huh? Edgar and Ethel, the company began as a mail-order business selling radio transmitting parts to amateurs and early radio broadcasters from space that was shared with a woodworking shop located in downtown Waseca. In 1936, E.F. Johnson Company built its first factory and office building in Waseca and had 17 employees. Radio companies now don't even have 17 employees. They have little robots and AI. The company designed and produced electronic components in volume and was active in World War II defense production. So happy 100th birthday to Edgar, and we're glad that he made some radios, because that keeps us going here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks, Joe.
Well, Dennis, thank you for that info. That's interesting. Smart bunch, it sounds like to me. Hey, okay, we got another one warming up here, and I heard Chris in there, and I'll let him get to you.
All right, and we will do that. Do the Jingle Singers want to jump in again? They're just right up here in front of the ribbon microphone. Chris, jump up in the air chair, and we will be right back to you.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
Fresno, California, and all around, serving the Central Valley here with our stations, our tube radio operators, and beaconing worldwide at oldtuberadio.net. Click on the link, and there's a video. You can see some cool pictures of the cool radios as they check in, and a footprint of the actual frequency, how it's being transmitted, and where it's at on the spectrum scope. Hello, Chris, over.
And hello, Dennis. You know, you said a name there, Waseca or something like that. Is that a name of a company, or is that the place in Kansas where they did, Twister?
E.F. Johnson from Waseca, Waseca, Minnesota. That was the birthplace of E.F. Johnson.
Oh, okay. I was thinking there's a place in Kansas that almost has that same name.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's Fresno, Texas, and things like that. So yeah, there could be a couple of Wasecas, but the infamous Waseca that's associated with E.F. Johnson's out in Minnesota. Over.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we got that part done. Anyway, Dennis, can I check in this radio?
You may check in that radio. Over.
Well, thank you very much. I would like to check in my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A, This is the 24-channel version of all these, and this one here, I am running it with the handheld stock microphone, swinging up to about 18, 19 watts. It sounds like it's working, I think.
It is working. We are taking a look at the footprint of the radio. It's interesting. It warbles a little bit, comes in, goes on frequency, moves a little bit, and kind of stays on. Moves just a little bit. It's not too far off, a little bit low, not too far off. And it also has a nice wide 3.5, 7K wide footprint. And the audio, really big, nice audio down in the lower register, 200, 300, 400 cycles. This is what we're hearing. That's why it sounds so good. And it's pretty much flat all the way across with the non-amplified stock microphone as it came out of the box over.
Yeah, and darnest thing, it just keeps on working. I think just better than dang Timex.
Well, were it to have a clock on it, it would have to be called a Hammerlin, but it's a general radio telephone, not in Waseca, Minnesota, but beautiful downtown Burbank, California. This is from the late 60s, I guess the early 70s. They're sort of last in the line, so they figured out how to do it.
Yeah, they did it right on this one.
Yes, they did, especially when you can have non-amplification sound like that. I know you're not shouting into the microphone, pretty much right on frequency. They didn't doll their radios up with the wood cases. Now, maybe that's something they should have done. They would have sold some more, because about this time, all the radios were getting a little bit more modern looking. They were getting away from the utility look, but I like that with the rack handles. With test equipment look, they were getting into more like the stereo look. But E.F. Johnson, our General Radio Telephone, E.F. Johnson actually didn't. They made their radios a little bit more modern, but they didn't put the wood cases on, and nor did General Radio Telephone. They knew that it's what was the thing? It's what's inside that counts. Over.
Yes, and when it keys up, how it works.
All right, there's the radio. Take another transmission. I'm going to put the S-meter cam up so you can give yourself a signal report. Over.
Okay, well, here's what it's doing. And actually, I key up, let me see. Keys up at 5, and it goes up to 19.
General Radio Telephone had the Q-Bird, the tone call, were it to be in this radio, it would have been on the front panel, but they took it out and they substituted with the bullhorn. I'm looking to see if you have a bull. Oh, yes, you do. You do have a bullhorn.
Yes, it does. Right there. It's the switch right next to where the microphone plug is on the right.
Yeah, I see it. It says radio or bullhorn, which is another way of saying PA, public address amplifier, and called it a bullhorn, a fancy way. The radio has 8 tubes, the ECLL 800, which is pretty hard to find these days and pretty expensive. And then, like I said, you've got probably one of the best 12AX7As in that mic preamp for sure. So no need to change anything. It sounds good, and it is our radio number 5 tonight. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Okay, well, Dennis, I did all my radios that I have that have tubes in them anyway, so... Anyway, I want to get off this one and go back over here, and I saved the tubes for when I talk. I listen to solid state and talk on that whenever I'm not on the tube. So you know where I'm going. I'll be over on the other radio listening, and if I have to, I'll key up once in a while and say, hey, I'm McClare.
All right, sounding good, looks good. There's another one for the hi-fi audio guys. Got a nice 6K, 7K, maybe 8K footprint on the audio, so... Your audio gear would not go unnoticed running into the microphonium jack of the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, and Hans mentions that it's a portable radio. Yeah, take it out. Grab those radio by the rack handles and take it out and run it portable. Although I don't know if that runs 12 volts. I think it does, because I've got the wrong picture up here. I think it had a couple of transistors in there. That was typical. 9 tube, 2 transistors. So those transistors are going to be probably the DC to DC conversion that will allow you, if you have the proper cord, to go 12 volt DC as you lug that 17-pound radio out wherever you are going. Thanks for bringing it by.
Okay, Dennis, no problem. And now I'm back on your wood.
Wow, what a difference. You are now the mild-mannered 37.
Yeah, big difference, huh? All right, Dennis, I'm listening.
All right, very good. The Jingle Singers yet again are joining us, and we'll be back in just a moment.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic
Old Tube Radio.
for you.
Listening for Radio 6. I think we can take another one or two before we jump out of here tonight.
60.
60. Well, our number 6, that works for me. Go ahead, sir. Over.
Thank you much, here, Dennis. We don't want to finish the year out here without checking in from Radio World Radio Labs, I should say. My Hustler Radio.
The Hustler Radio. Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that by. I'm going to see if I can find the World Radio Lab shot that I have, but I have another picture. You're going to enjoy when I find it here. There it is. Now notice those looking at the picture and on the front of your radio, above the speaker, does it actually say HUSTLER? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your radio is blue. There is, I'll call it a rectangle that isn't blue on the front where the squelch and volume in the speaker is. Is it white or is it chrome?
It's chrome. It's encased in chrome. The speaker, the two knobs in the top, and the extra plug-in crystal, the red light, the meter are encased in chrome, and the rest of it below the two knobs is all in blue.
And we're showing, were you to see the photo here, if you're at the YouTube site, we're showing the supplied blue matching microphonium that is hardwired into the radio, but as I understand it, you have a secondary microphone that's been either wired in through the hole in front, or I don't know if there's a mic jack put in, but you're not using the blue microphone, is that correct?
That's right. That's sitting right here. I'm holding on. I have it in my hand, Dennis, and it is the original blue microphone. That was wired directly in back of the radio, but later it was Harvey brought cut a hole in the front there, right below the labs. The word labs is the hole for the 4-pin +3 that I'm using, gray base.
Okay, that's good. I was trying to see if I could find. Uh-oh, don't tell me it's not there. A shot of the Rustler that somebody had, and that's what Harvey had. Anyway, I'll look for that. But there's actually another unit like that, but it comes in. Okay, here it is. I got the picture here now. I'll bring it up. But it's called the Rustler. But it's a World Radio Lab. Here we go. I'm going to bring it up. Sorry for the delay. And this is from Radford Brooks. It's got the blue. It's just like your radio. It's got the silver surround. It's got the switch between the squelch and the volume, but on the front, there's a badge over the top where it would say Hustler, and it says Rustler. So I'm trying to figure out what's up with that.
I don't know, and I have seen it with my own two eyes, the Rustler, and I've seen the Hustler. I've seen it here a while back. I don't know what's with that. I've looked over the word Hustler very close and to see if it's been worked on, changed over or whatever, but it looks very original, manufactured. You can't. No, there's no work to be ever done to it. It's wrote right on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. Now let me see if I can hot switch over to your radio. There it is. And I'm trying to think, there's some slight differences. This one looks like it's painted. So I don't know. Were we to talk to Leo Meyerson, World Radio Lab, somebody that worked there, and maybe there was a first version and a second version, how many of these they actually produced, because they're quite rare. But you definitely have the Hustler. If the Hustler is checking in, you know he's going to have the Hustler. But I don't know. I think we may have to find its mate, and you should have the Hustler and the Rustler. Over.
Yeah, there you go. Brother and sister, I see you probably call it out. Yeah, that would be nice. Unfortunately, we're talking about the Hustler, 7 tubes, 8 channels, and fully dressed. I mean, it has this carrying handle, the handle to carry it with. It has the hardware ready to put under the dash of a car. You couldn't ask for nothing more, Dennis.
And I'm sure with its 7 tubes, it was sort of designed like that to be portable, to be affordable. You know, those watching the video, there's the Rustler. It keys up, it has the hook, goes on to frequency, and it's probably, there it is, and maybe about 500 cycles low. And it, too, has a pretty decent audio footprint as well from World Radio Labs. I'm glad it has 23-channel tunable, but channel 11 in as well. And it's a very, very popular radio with the crowd with that blue. Mainly because you just don't see anything like that. So, as always, a crowd favorite. It's Radio 6 tonight, and I'm glad you were able to bring it by. The Hustler, over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Like I say, I don't think I wanted to go, let the year go by without checking her in one more time. Thanks a whole bunch, and once again, Happy New Year to you the following year, and we'll talk to you next year.
All right, and someone said that is definitely a New Year's Eve radio to throw the confetti on. just don't spill the Martinellis on there at all. So you are sounding good. Thanks for stopping by. Gary saying that he's got a closet full of old vintage mobile CB radios from the 70s. He's a ham op, but he has, just like us, he's a ham op, but he has fun with the older CB radios, as we do, right here on the Old Tube Radio Network, every Saturday evening, starting at 8 p.m. Pacific time, most Saturdays throughout the year. All right, I'm going to do some counting and amounting. The radio list is ready for another check-in. If they're out there, the Jingle Singers are ready, and we'll go to them.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
The Old Tube Radio Network listening. Or should I say, I'm the Rustler with my paperwork here. And dare I say, the Jingle Singers once again on your Old Tube Radio Network. They're getting a workout here.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
All right, stay with us and be modern as you can be. I was going to pull up the Larry Cam to see what it looks like when the jingle singers are on. Do they make a pretty picture? Well, there they are. Oh yeah, you can see the little musical notes floating around on the spectrum there. All right. So they have their big time. All right, back to the studio. Let me clear out the radios and say, gee whiz. Gee whiz and golly gosh, thanks for joining us once again here on the Old Tube Radio Network and helping us out with our, I want to say coming into our 38th year. I think that's what it's going to be. I don't know. I always get off a year. I think somewhere we had a couple of leap years, and maybe we've actually been on 50 years, but we don't know it. Anybody else wanting to check in? It's past the hour here. I know some people are staying up late with us tonight, as they always do, but anybody else would like to get checked in here tonight on OTR? Okay, don't see anybody on the Echo link, so with that...
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current final totals. From everywhere, was that 357 from San Jose. Thanks for joining us from San Jose, up the road a little bit here. We're here in Fresno. Who just came in? Manhattan, Kansas. Manteca, California. That isn't Toby, is it? Manhattan, Kansas. Is that you, Toby? I know it's Lawrence, Kansas is around there somewhere. But we are not in Kansas anymore. We're here in Central California. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. I'm going to read off the list here. What did we do tonight? We had 18 check-ins on page 1, 19 on page 2, 20 on page 3, and 25 on page 4 for a total of 82. We are in week 4, and radios, I think it was is this correct? A six-way tie? Manufacturers from everybody tonight. The Sonar Model H with the Sonar Call number 3 from Mr. Green Arrow. A lot of rare radios tonight, a lot of old radios. Well, this is the Old Tube Radio Network, right? The Chris 23 Plus, probably one of our newer radios from Chris, the Panasonic chassis. Likewise, with Radio 3, the Gem Marine Products G Power Mating. E.F. Johnson Messenger 2. Very classic radio. They sold a lot of those. So there was 612 volt, 117 volt AC, the TWO from E.F. Johnson. And I was impressed with the audio footprint on that. Thank you, Joe. Good to hear you. Back in the red on the meter. Radio number 5, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A, beautiful downtown Burbank. Like Hans says, grab that thing by the rack handles, get your portable 12-volt battery, and go do a Parks on the Air or something. Take it with you. Also, the World Radio Labs Hustler, and there's a rustler out there. See if we can get Radford. He says it's still working. Radford's rustler is still working, so we could have a dueling. And they don't have a tone call. They could talk to each other. They have the little tone call alert. 6 radios tonight. Our last net of 2023, and again, a lot of you, many of you, have been joining us. Well, even long before we started, but all of our 38 years in a Saturday or two. And so we appreciate that, and we are still waiting. I don't know when it'll happen. It may take another 30 years to get our millionth tube radio checking in, and I think they said there's going to be some balloons falling out of the sky. So with that, I will go back to the party in the other room and commence to begin to see if we can't make 2024 a decent year. Is it still good? Not too bad. It's not Ovaltine, but it'll do. I'll see you all later, everybody. Thanks for your support and help for the Old Tube Radio Network. We need it.
Well, those balloons, I hope they're not coming from China.
Uh-oh, are they lead poisoning?
I don't know. They may have some compromising equipment in there to spy on our radios.
You know, that's true. That's why I mentioned at the beginning that we like shortwave listening and two-way radio because you don't get a bill at the end of the month and nobody tracks you.
What? Yeah.
All right, catch you later. I don't think it's raining outside, so I'm going to go around and check everything and make sure we are short up here. But Happy New Year, Jackie, and the Shack Tour. You know what? I will have to find some type of a portable camera. You know, were I in the 21st century with my setup here, there would be a lot of things that we could do. But, you know, this is the Old Tube Radio Network. I'm still wearing the 1960s Sears jacket and the pocket protector. You know, we didn't even do the Pendonite. The Pendonite CBS tubes. Let me put the camera on before we go. There it is. That's going in the pocket protector tonight from CBS tubes. The autofocus never works. That's why my Shack Tour probably wouldn't go over all that well. Ken L's Radio Supply, 428 Central Avenue, Fort Dodge, Iowa. So all you Fort Dodge stations out there, tell Ken of CBS Tubes that we've got his pin in the pocket protector tonight. 73, everybody.
Good night. Thanks, Dennis. Good night. Have a great one.
Good night, Dennis.
So we'll talk to you next year.
Yeah, we'll see you next year, Chris.
Well, you never know, Joe. Unless you come by before then.
Good net, Dennis. Awesome. Thanks for running the net tonight.
Boy, now there's some forward swing in this thing.
Yeah, just a little bit tonight. Got the AM modulation station of the nation.
Well, Ron, it's sounding good in my neighborhood.
All right, well, it's just a AM radio, so no sideband.
That's all right. It still works.
All right, guys, have a good one, and maybe we'll catch you out there tomorrow.
All right, Ron, you take it easy. We're out and doing what we can do when we can do, when we do what we do, when we do it, you know. Anyway, we doing it. Hello. So, Joe, you leave your Johnson alone now.
Huh?
You leave your Johnson alone.
Hey, I'll play with my Johnson when I want.
I would have burned your fingers.
It don't burn anymore.
Never mind. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. It's, I think I'm going to go in. And that's that skip, go pee, then go back. I stopped cutting wood and go do that, get back to bed, fall asleep, and start cutting more wood.
Well, you know your wood's supposed to be already cut.
Well, I'm just splitting it then.
You always come up with something, Cotton Bigger. Get you a bigger fireplace.
Oh, that in there runs us out of the house as it is.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that puppy gets hot. headed back.
Okay, well, there you go. That's what it is. I'm just dealing with too much noise. There you go.
I don't get it. You're fine. Well, but I got an S3 noise level. You got 5.9 plus.
Yeah, if I had an S3 noise level, we'd be chopping tall cotton. Believe me.
I need to get the hardware on them, and then they set them in the ground for me.
Alright, mine. I've got a 101 ZD that's kind of like, the updated display. I got just tons of these kind of radios. I got 102s and all that fun stuff. If it's the ACU, I probably got it. KG7HCR.
It keeps on ticking.
I was just speaking in general. It wasn't directed at you specifically, but anybody that's got an old chassis, you just want to... I watch this program on YouTube. This guy goes around and finds these old cars and gets them running again. They've been sitting for 30 years in a parking lot or a field in a garage. Here we go, Dave.
Roadworthy restoration.
Yeah, something like that. Vice Grip Garage is the guy I watch on.
Yeah, that's the one I watch.
Yeah, Derek and his kids.
The Hicks that make jokes about Hicks.
Yeah, well, anyway, he's kind of fun. And actually, he inspired me to do more of my own auto work because, I've always been able to do this stuff. I quit doing it a long time ago because I thought it was too dirty. But none of my cars are all that dirty, and I don't have to do that kind of dirty work. So I went and fixed my stuck heater vent, and I changed my wife's parking brake cable, and all those things. It only cost us $300-400.
My wife and I are both intrepid road trippers. We are in the car on road trips all the time. And we just noticed that folks there's kind of a gray flannel cloud of something over everybody these days.
You mean we're plumb tuckered out?
Maybe that's it. Or just the tiredness.
Hello.
Hey, here we go. I'm back.
Yeah. Well, I heard you in the noise. You were in the noise, brother.
Yeah, I copy that. You're kind of in the noise right now. You're going down, man.
Yeah, the band is changing, you think?
I think so, and it's not for the better for some reason.
Oh, now you're up. Now you're 5.9 plus 20.
Yeah, you're just 5 dB over the noise.
What's your noise level?
It's about 8 dB over 9.
Yeah, okay, that's where you are. You're about 5.9 plus 10.
Yeah, that's where you are too. I'm just swallowed up in noise, bud.
All right, let's not kill ourselves. Have a good evening.
Yeah, we'll try it again, but I just think we need a little bit more propagation to get over this noise. Nothing else I can do. All right, man, good talking. I'll check with you tomorrow in 9GDN.
All right, brother, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. And 9GDN, KK7 TV. Sorry we couldn't make it, bro.
Roger.